The collective mind puts their thoughts into the universe, and we come here together today. This is your day, my day. Here we go. Let's find out what's happening in the world.
Is that an earthquake?
A what? Brendan, stop!
Mom, it's Brenda. They've been in an accident.
What happened? Was Eric okay? We just had a major seismic event. The new Madrid Fault is the largest on this continent. If we're seeing this much activity, it means something way bigger could be on the way. But there's sinkholes, massive sand blows emerging. None of this is normal. We don't pinpoint where and how these plates are slipping. We're looking at a 10.0 or larger in less than 9 hours.
It'll split the entire continent in half.
You should call the governor or have her issue a national emergency.
An underground mine in Alton, Illinois collapsed around 8:30 Wednesday morning, leaving behind a massive sinkhole. The depression is estimated to be around 100 feet wide and 50 feet deep, and sank in the middle of the $1.2 million turf soccer fields at Gordon Moore Park. Michael Haynes is the director of Parks and Recreation for the city of Alton and says it's disappointing for the community.
Thankfully, there were no injuries, both above ground and below ground, and that is the absolute main thing. It could have been different.
You already know, Maggie Meg in the building trying to figure out what the new conspiracy is. We love a good conspiracy here. We're about to dive into sinkholes and earthquakes and what's going on in the world. Let's take off like an air sign would.
If you or anybody you know live anywhere in this area, you need to watch this video because this is supposed to be a simulation of what the new Madrid Fault Line could do. So basically, the National Guard has been in Missouri holding multiple drills just in case an 8.4 magnitude earthquake hits the new Madrid line, which is crazy. I just showed you guys this photo in the intro, but this is the new simulation of what it could do. I'm actually in the red. This is terrifying. So the Missouri Department of Natural Resources now says that there's a 10% chance that the state will experience a magnitude 7 or higher earthquake in the next 50 years. They're saying that obviously an earthquake like that would be extremely catastrophic, but there's an even better chance that a major earthquake greater than 6 could cause massive damage too. And then they're saying that the estimate actually goes up to 25% that Missouri will see a quake that large in the next 30 years. Basically, all of this stuff has been going down for the past few days. There's actually simulation videos showing what the approximate damage could be across the United States, and the ocean would basically open up and then all of the middle of the US would be water. By the way, I want to make sure that everybody knows that this was all just a drill and this is a simulation about if an earthquake did happen, this would be the new Madrid Fault Line and it would be crazy, but we're all okay. This is all very new and I couldn't find that much information, but make sure you add me and come back tomorrow.
In this dream, the Lord showed me a massive earthquake that was going to happen in America, and it was the Madrid Fault, and it was the largest earthquake that ever had happened on the earth. And so whenever I saw it in my dream, it happened right by the Mississippi River, and it's like it split the Mississippi River and it made it bigger, and all the bridges that were on the Mississippi River collapsed, and they were all down. And the Lord showed me things were on fire. It was just total devastation where this was, and I could see it. It went clear down to New Orleans area. It went clear up into Chicago area. It was massive, and all the bridges, like I said, fell. But there was no way for the semi trucks to go from east to west. So they brought in these bridges that were on the Army. They were like floating bridges, and the Army brought them in, and they put them in all on up and down where the highways were, trying to make it where trucks could come in and out for emergencies. But they couldn't get the trucks from east to west, so they brought in planes, and the planes came in and they flew the food in to cities to get where the semi trucks couldn't get back and forth. They brought the food in, and they were trying to bring it in on humongous cargo planes, and they were flying it in so that the food could get throughout all the cities still in America. This was another dream. And then the Lord showed me massive helicopters, and they're the Chinook helicopters, and they were flying from the west, and I stood on the back porch in my dream, and I could see, and you could visibly smell fire in the air, and it was so strong that it was like you could, like how you see a haze from the fire whenever there's a grass fire. And so I could see, you could hear the helicopters flying low, and they were all coming like in lines. They were all in lines, and they were all, and the helicopters were coming from the West Coast, and they were going to the East Coast. And it was, where I live is in the central part of America, and so you could hear them coming, and they were so loud because there were so many of them at a time. They're all flying in formation, but there was probably like 30, 40 of them at a time. But it was so much, it would shake the houses. And so you could see, I didn't watch the TV in the dream, but I knew that it was just like a 9/11 event. It was that big.
One of the theories out there is that this two-state peace solution that will be announced at the UN on September 23rd during the Feast of Trumpets is going to trigger the great split of the United States, the earthquake. We've been seeing all the earthquakes ramping up, all the volcanic eruptions, all of the floods, everything. So the birthing pains have been witnessed, okay? Now, I am on the new Madrid Fault Line. I'm about 100 miles north of the center point, okay? I'm in Centralia, Illinois, all right? I have been stacking supplies. I have been prepared to go to the Ozarks. The meeting spot will be the Plateau Ozarks, where the cave systems are, okay? That will be our meeting spot. Come with what you have, supplies, two-way ham radios. If something starts to happen, the ground starts to shake, and you are in these areas and you can get to the Ozarks, that's where I will be. And I will be using my two-way ham radio, Mr. Endgame 144. I'll call myself Mr. E144 or something. Like, you'll know it's me. I will be calling out like John Connor, okay? We will be there, okay? My family, my tribe, anyone in this area, we're gonna get in our vehicles and we're gonna head to the Ozarks, okay? They're saying that if it were supposed to happen, if they announce this deal and anything like this actually comes to truth, it would be 3 days after the deal is announced. So I'm pretty sure you will get your sign over the next couple of days to go. If it's time for you to go, I believe the Most High will give you that clear-cut sign that it's time to go, to get to wherever your safe spots are. Appalachian Mountains are another one, a good one, down in Tennessee, depending on where you're at. But if you're in these general areas, especially if you're by rivers, anything that can flood, you need to check your area. You need to meditate on it, talk with Spirit, ask AI what its assessments are, and then you figure out where your safe spot is. Let everyone know so you guys can have a meeting spot, because in Hawaii right now, their most active volcano is erupting again, okay? You just had another 7.8 earthquake, I believe it was, over in Russia again. The earth is definitely terraforming, guys. The great change, the great shift is upon us. I don't know how it's all going to go down as far as raptures or harvest or, Project Bluebeam, aliens, anything. I'm enjoying the show. I've got my theories. I've got my highest probabilities, and I've got them stacked, right? But I'm not going to be surprised by anything, and I'm not going to allow myself to be fooled by anything, okay? I have prepared the best I can for all scenarios, and I choose now to just stay in my heart and work on my temple. That's it. Health, happiness, mindset. There's only so much you can do, all right? But if you don't have a bug out bag and you don't have a little food, water in your car, I would do that this weekend, all right? Just have some stuff, guys. And if you're okay with, just going out in a blaze of glory, then that's cool too. You could be like Woody Harrelson in the movie 2012. You just don't have to worry about anything. He did all the prep work, but then he decided, you know what? He wasn't running from anything. He went out there and watched a storm come right to him. You could do that too. It's your choice. It's free will. I've got family members and stuff that I gotta look out for, and I gotta try and make sure that they don't have anything to fear for as long as possible, because that's what men do for the women and children in their lives. They try and make sure that their peace of mind is secured as long as possible, and that's what I'm gonna do. And then when it's just me, I'll face any adventure, anything that comes my way as a lone wolf. But as of right now, I got a tribe. and I got to look out for them. So
yeah, why are folks saying that 7 Midwestern states are about to have an imminent earthquake of magnitude 8 or more that would devastate the entire region, especially St. Louis? Well, I'll tell you where it came from. In New Madrid in 1811 and 1812, December through February, there were 3 or 4 subsequent earthquakes of nearly magnitude 8. They were devastating at the time. And there is a fault line that is unbelievably deep and unbelievably long that is basically running from northeastern Arkansas into southeastern sections of Missouri. And eventually, this fault line is once again going to produce a devastating earthquake of 8 or even stronger. However, when I say eventually, I don't mean in the near future. In fact, the reason everyone's talking about it now is because the National Guard is smartly doing exercises, and just recently did, in St. Louis to, of course, avoid a catastrophe as best they can if this were to happen. So they held a drill. This caught the attention of TikTokers, who then came on and said, hey, this is going to happen and you have to look out and you need to know about this. Everybody that lives in this area already knows about this, or almost everyone, because the New Madrid Fault Line is something that is pretty famous, and you'll learn about it first in grade school. However, there's only a 25% chance in the next 30 years that there is going to be an earthquake of 6 or stronger, and a 10% chance in the next 50 years that there's going to be an earthquake of 7 or stronger. Now, that still sounds a little bit high. I mean, it is something that is, gets you a little bit nervous to think about. And that's why they're holding, of course, those exercises. So this entire area, that is those 7 states, Missouri, Illinois, even Indiana, Kentucky, of course, Tennessee, northern sections of Alabama, across through, obviously Missouri, and then down into Arkansas, that entire region right there.
So then I see an article from Fox News saying that Trump and Bibi have agreed on a 2-state solution. And that was one of the things from the Abraham Accords. And they were saying how they were wanting to make a 2-state solution. They were agreeing upon it. And I've already told you all, you have 3, if they do this 2-state solution, 3 days later, the New Madrid Fault Line will be split in half and America will be divided in half. If you want to watch that video is down below. I told you all when this happens, I saw great big Chinook helicopters flying from the west to the central part of America. They had supplies. They were trying. It sounded like the earth was shaking. They had so many helicopters trying to bring supplies from the west to the central part where the United States was divided. This is whenever I told you I saw the lion's face, and I thought, what is this lion's face? And it was carved into a side of a building, and I warned everybody. I saw tumbleweeds going down Wall Street. I saw tumbleweeds going down Wall Street, and I saw a side of the building, and I saw the lion, and the Lord spoke to me. He said, look at the lion on the side of the building, but I didn't know what building it was, but it is the New York Stock Exchange. That's what this building is, and the Lord warned me about it. And he told me, if you divide Jerusalem, if they do a 2-state solution and they do this, I'm going to divide America. And I saw it split down the middle. I saw all the bridges that were going from west to east that were completely destroyed on the Mississippi River. I saw it was the most devastating, and I saw from Texarkana to Tulsa, Oklahoma, I saw over 1,800 people die.